Hello and welcome everybody to our first digital discovery show. Welcome here. My name is Despina Karatias. I'm the proud chief navigator of Navii Digital and Tourism Tribe. And here I have the wonderful Liz Ward and Fabienne Wintle, the co-founders, the masterminds, the leading ladies, our leading tribers. Welcome. Thank you. How exciting to have our own digital discovery show.
Yes, and trust you to start it, Jespy. That's all.
I'm still pumped by the intro music. I don't know if people heard the music, but I'm like, I feel like I'm special.
Because you are. I mean, we talk about digital and what Tourism Tribe and Navii has come to be, integral thinking and leaders in the digital space. And this is exciting because I've gotten to know you two and now working. This is week 3, the end of week 3. Happy Friday to everyone that's joining us. And it's been an incredible journey, and there's so much to share with everyone about what has gone on. And we need to say congratulations to you. 5 years this year, not long ago that we celebrated the milestone. So I think it would be a great way as our first show to get to know the two of you, have a little Liz and Fabi discovery. In how this came to be, how your union came to be, and where you realized and made the connection of just how much small businesses need the type of help you have provided and the support you have provided to hundreds, if not thousands, small businesses in Australia. Did you want to start, Liz?
I'd love to. And it all started on a journey to Alice Springs because we were both going to speak at a tourism conference in the Territory, and we were at the airport together and loading, checking in and stuff. Oh, hi, I know you. Yeah, I know you. We get to the other end, no suitcases. Ours didn't make it. So then we were in the country Target together in Alice Springs working out what we were going to wear to do our presentations for the next 2 days. And we really enjoyed our Qantas pajamas. They were the days where if you didn't get your luggage, you got a little toothbrush and all that. And we wore those Qantas pajamas for years. But we were really unified from that point, struggling through that little trip. And it went really well. And Bernard Salt was there. We got to meet him.
I taught him how to do YouTube videos, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was this conference I'll never forget in Alice Springs, and we got to the event convention center, and there was no internet. It was a digital conference, and I think the gardener had cut like the broadband cable, and there was no dongle in those days, and somehow they managed to scramble it together, and it was just the best conference ever. So it started with the country target country experience, then no internet, and it just turned into something amazing.
It has turned into something amazing, and I've been reveling in watching how incredibly well you complement each other in your skills, in expertise. And talking about those days, Fabi, we talked the other day, we kind of did a little ping, that was my first business, like particularly in your experience. Prior to that, you started your first business before that in web development and your own digital company. Is that right?
Yeah. Founded a company called Untangle My Web, and I still love the name. And it was really about helping small businesses in the tourism industry. It started really understand digital, and it was the days that everyone said you have to have a booking system. So people got a booking system, but they didn't know how to rank their websites at the top of Google, so they got no bookings because it's basically like a shop in the middle of the desert. So it really took them on the journey on how to feel empowered to run a small business using technology. And technology, in those days, it started being cheap. You could have big systems at very low cost. It was just a matter of knowing which one to plug in and how. And I think that's what's continued to with Navii as well. Just continuing on this journey of showing like the crux of Australian businesses, the small business industry, that you can have a thriving business, especially if you learn how to turn those digital knobs a little bit better. Because we've got to learn to do it. We can't afford to pay people. We are small businesses.
Right on. It's the saving also, that like how much, and I've seen thousands of dollars saved just in the coaching sessions that we're helping, the one-on-one training that is all been inspired by the work that you two have implemented. It's quite incredible, and it's really where the inspiration for this show, because at the start of the journey, a lot of the clients are taking on their discovery session, and it's beyond digital. It's business. It's real good business, solid business coaching to help operators when you're in a small business. As you know from Untangled My Web and previous experience, it's when you don't have anyone to kind of, you it can be quite lonely to untangle web and a lot of other things. So it's been amazing in that regard. And then the complementary. Yes.
Oh, sorry. It's just something that's really been in my mind a lot the last few days, talking to some people, particularly some women, on digital literacy. Like when you think about literacy as a fundamental right and need for a human being, we're at the point now where there are people getting left behind. They can't actually operate in society. In COVID, they will struggle to get jobs unless they know how to use basic digital tools. And so it's right at that fundamental level now. It's really kind of crystal clear that people need to be digitally literate to then be able to build those foundation skills to work in a business or own a business in 2020. So it's really important.
Really important. And going back, just taking a step back for those that don't know you, Liz, where your experience in helping small business came at a real top level in your journey of heading up the ATDW. If you want to talk a little bit about that and the work that you did to empower small business, and how incredible that has led, and continued on to what you do today.
Sure. Well, people understand that a lot of the most beautiful businesses in tourism are small businesses in regional areas. 95% of the tourism industry is made up of small and medium-sized businesses. So when you do anything at a strategic level in the tourism industry anywhere in the world, if you do it right, you are helping small business, which is super important. In Australia, small business, I think they employ 44% of the workforce. So it's amazing. So what we did at the ATDW, what I was involved in was actually starting that up. So putting the concept together for all of the state governments and the federal government. And it was an amazing opportunity because you get to serve the industry really directly in that situation where we said, beginning of web marketing, so way back, late 90s, what would be a really fundamental strategic platform that we could create collectively as a country that would help all businesses in tourism and would work to take them to the market and get them to a bit more of a level playing field in terms of exposing them. And so that was the Australian Tourism Data Warehouse, where quality standards in terms of now what we call content we collected about their businesses, so that other distributors, including Tourism Australia, Australia.com, Australia's, national tourism body, all the state tourism organisations like Visit New South Wales and etc., all around the country, and Qantas could pick up this content and have it on their website, so that where the consumer was coming into these points, and 30% of consumers use destination marketing websites, would find a quality presentation of these businesses. Now that was back in the late 90s. I went on to be its CEO for 10 years and got to go through multiple strategic sort of, reinventions of it. Met Fabi during that time. We developed a beautiful product called the Tourism E-Kit that dovetailed in with the ATDW to educate people. And Fab was the author of that. So it all sort of, it was a wonderful, very industry-specific, right down to a grassroots level tool. And in COVID, it's become really important. It's really, really got its place because all of those channels that are sharing it are able to say, this business is COVID safe. This business is open for business. So it's out there. It's a really important channel for them.
So you can see, and I welcome anybody that's joining us live. Please drop in your comment, any question, anything that you'd like to ask Liz or Fab. Please feel free to join us in the conversation today as well, and welcome to you too. And you can see here the wealth of experience that these two amazing women bring. And speaking of COVID and what's happened to the industry, this, in 2020 or starting from late 2019, you've been able to really quickly put together a resource and an incredible program that has caused transformation in businesses. And that's what I've seen. I've come at the back end of you delivering this program, a recovery program that is relaunching. Tell us a little bit about how the recovery program and the steps to COVID recovery and transformation that through Tourism Tribe, and now moving on to Navii, which we'll talk on, what that experience has been like.
It happened really quickly. Yeah, we'll tell it together as we can, because we made it together with our team members. Our baby. ScoMo said on the weekend at the end of March, can your holidays, right? And we went, oh God, here we go. This is gonna hurt. And so on Monday we got together with our team and we said, what is the most useful thing that we can do to help the tourism and travel industry? Because this is going to be really bad. They're going to be in lockdown. Then, what are they going to do? How many Netflix episodes can they watch before they feel a lot worse? So we came up with this idea of a structured program, comprehensive, to really use the time productively. That was the main thing. How can they use the time productively, upskill themselves so they can improve their marketing, increase their digital skills so that they are stronger for the reopening? But Fab can talk about what the program entails and how we evolved it. But what I loved seeing as each of these intakes have gone through, there's been almost 400 people in the multiple intakes of this program. We were running multiple at the same time. It was quite funny. But it's not just been the upskilling and the transformation of their businesses and that really those practical outcomes. It's been the connection between the people. So when they were in lockdown across states, they're like finding new friends, and they're finding that solace and that understanding of each other and their motivation. It gave them a reason every week to come online, do the course, to work on their business, come into the coaching sessions, get some more help. So it's been really great to see. Fab's worked tirelessly in developing new content for the program around really 2020 marketing concepts, which we hadn't taken the industry on that journey of yet. So it was time, though. They've got a lot of businesses have got the foundations in place for their marketing, but they haven't got this proactive, nurturing approach to treating each individual separately and nurturing them through a sales funnel. So that's been quite a focus of it.
It's been incredible, and for me to witness it coming at the back end of you having delivered it to so many and seeing tourism operators talking about lead funnels and marketing automation, it's just music to my ears. We've arrived, we've experienced some crisis, but here are businesses taking action, seizing opportunity, getting involved in a program and coming out the other side. They're going to be better for it. Tell us, Fab, about the content and how you've taken them on that journey. You can see it has been, like I said, it's been a transformational experience from the operators that I've spoken to.
Yeah, well, it kind of really all fell together. I guess the bit that was easy for us is to launch it, because we've always run everything digitally. We've always, been at different locations in the country. So we already had all the systems to do it. It was just a matter of going, okay, what's the program? How do we send an email? We get people onboarded. What I love the most is seeing people help one another, and seeing them regularly, because there's one thing that small businesses don't have in business, it's time. And suddenly from one day to another, they had all the time in the world, apart from dealing with cancellations. And we shared some really good tips as well. And, operators have lost 0 businesses thanks to some tips that some of our team's been able to share with them. That was fabulous. But yeah, so they had time, and they had time to invest into their own business and pull that to-do list. That was at the very, very bottom with the word like online. Ask Fab whenever I find time, and actually make it happen. And then we brought it to them and kind of, like a conductor. So we paced them through it. And it worked really well because we had the online presentations, like, us talking now so people can see us, but we can't see them. But then what we set up was those small group support sessions or tech sessions where really Fabi fix it, because I can get into people's website share screen only if you let me.
It's incredible. Like
and really fix things. And they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know that. I thought I needed a whole new website. And no, they just didn't have something configured properly. So that was really valuable, that people actually had the time to invest in their own business. And we were just there to connect them with the solution.
It is. And the difference is that that has really pushed this along is this tech support and the one-on-one approach with this program. So with Tourism Tribe, it's 5 years with this baby, but a new baby was born recently, which you can see this digital discovery show is brought to you by 2 brands. It's the 2 sisters, or brother and sister, Tourism Tribe and Navii Digital. So in speaking to the transition to now, this wealth of experience in supporting small business in the wonderful tourism industry, but now extend this skill set, the support is so incredibly needed in the wider community. And now there's an opportunity to do this. So Liz, can you take us through that transition and the launch of Navii at the same time that we hit a new milestone with Tourism Tribe?
Sure. I'll start by saying, and I think these are wise words I can share from a mentor of mine, who's a wonderful businesswoman called Lorraine Martin. So she started Martin Colleges. She started the first ever language schools in Australia. And she started with sort of secretarial skills, and she went to language when it's a very successful businesswoman. And she said to me, it was in about year 4 of our business, and I was like, sweat coming off the brows and working really hard. And she said, you know what, Liz, starting a new business is like getting a jumbo jet off the ground. She said, takes 5 years to get it right and to build it. And then once it gets in the air, it just flies. And it was at that 5-year mark, or just a month or so prior to that, since we'd launched Tourism Tribe, that I got the phone call saying, and now Digital Coaching International, which is the mothership company of Tourism Tribe, has been, you're not going to be surprised, but it's been, you've been successful in receiving the Empowering Business to Go Digital Grant. So I was like, seriously, are you sure you're ringing the right people? So what we'd done is we put in a grant application. The federal government they put together a task force and really looked at the research, trying to understand what was holding small business back from adopting digital. And we knew a lot of the reasons to that because we're working with small businesses all the time. And we got everything that was said in that task force. One of their recommendations was to ask the private sector, find somebody in the private sector to start an organisation, not a government organisation. They didn't feel that government necessarily were the right people to do this, to engage small business and move them to the next step in their digital adoption. Even if it's the first step, or maybe it's the middle step, whatever it is, move them along the pathway as much as, do what we can to do that. And we were successful in getting the grant. So government's investing in us for the first 2 years to do that, which is fantastic to have we've never had an investment partner before. Now we've got federal government, and it's been fantastic so far working with the team there in Canberra and the digital team there. So what Navii, if you think about the reasons why small businesses are struggling, obviously a big one is time. But you know what? It's everyone could do with more time. What it is they're just not going to adopt technology because they're told to. What we know is they need trusted advice. They need guidance. They need to be helped through the journey, and they need to trust the people who are providing it to them. So that's really clear in the research. We also know that they need relatable information. They need to be able to see a business like theirs and how it has helped them and what it has cost them in time, which is often the currency they're looking at, and dollars. So we already knew that. We pitched to the government in terms of what we could do by utilising our learnings and IP out of Tourism Tribe to get a quick start in the marketplace to be able to help small businesses through an online platform. Having said that, we know you can't teach digital with digital. You actually need a human factor in there. So we've got Navii, as in we're going to help you navigate your way through, hence the new baby, hence you're the chief navigator.
Yay.
That's it. And so it's going to be a very guided journey for small business operators who come in specific to their business type, where we'll be able to show them some really practical, relatable case studies, but broken into small pieces so that they can go, so that's what it would look like in my sales and marketing. I would need to have these things in place and the practices would look like this. This is what it would look like for me to be able to be more efficient in my business for my business type. And a very guided journey. Think IKEA, walking your way down through the aisles of the showrooms of IKEA with your little clipboard going, oh, I like this, oh, I don't have this, that kind of guided journey. And then you go and select what you're going to take. But what's going to be different? It's going to be like a little angel is going to come in over your shoulder and say, come and talk to me and we'll sort out your priorities. So they'll do a bit of a self-diagnostic, having seen businesses like theirs and what's possible, and then they will be offered a complimentary one-on-one, just briefly, to be able to help them sort out the next step. And they might decide they want to go on a learning path, the DIY path, but there's a lot of people out there go, I understand as this business owner that this is important, but I'm not going to do it myself. Point me to a trusted person who can do this for me. So that's roughly what the journey will look like. And we've already started on some a nice short course that we can direct people to, which is the BizKeeper course, because that's so necessary in the COVID era when we're shutting down and going through business hibernation and those sorts of things, to have that ready to go for them. So we hope within the next couple of months, that's the plan, is to have something so at the beginning of the journey, and to be inviting people to tell us what they think as well and how useful they find what it is we're building.
Yeah, I think that's something that's critical. There's so many courses online available, but you do a course, you might not really, what we want to show people is what it's like to run an efficient businesses, and all the time savings, all the penny dropping that we see when we do one-on-one coaching session with people. You've got to show them that the investment of their time in going at that extra step in digital is going to be better for their business and for their lifestyle as well. And that's what will allow people to move to the next step. So that IKEA vision, you want to see what you're getting first. We don't send them straight to the boxes down. You want to see what the outcome is. And I think that's critical, and that's what we're doing, I guess, differently. What we'll also be doing is seeking your input in all our ideas. So we'll be leveraging technology to do things smartly and get your input into the products we develop to make sure it absolutely suits your need. So there'll be more information coming to you if you've signed up for more info on navii.com.au.
Navii, you see that there, navii.com. So you can sign up to get the updates as .com.au. Navii.com.au. Now, you mentioned the BizKeeper. So there's a digital BizKeeper program that has rolled out and rolling out. Fabi, what you just said there is really important, because when we're talking digital, we're not just talking about the shiny marketing side of what digital capability means and how it empowers business. Digital is about that working smarter and implementing new systems into your business that is going to save you 1, 2, 3, 5 hours a day to go and do the other things that you love and help your family. Tell us about that journey and what, just a summary of what a program like the Digital BizKeeper, that can transform a business.
Well, I think my view, it's like, you don't pour a concrete slab without having the Rio in it, the reinforcing. And that's what that program is really about. If you want to strengthen your business and build a stronger business, there is tools. At the digital literacy you must have about smart tools for your business, like simple things like safe password management. 95% of the time I run coaching sessions, I see people use the name of their dogs backwards plus the year of their first kiss as a password, across everything. That is not only it's not safe, but they lose a lot of time because sometimes you've got the capital on the dog name or not. So it's about making sure all these little tick boxes are sorted before we do anything else, because it's going to take time to do marketing well. It's going to take time to understand how to edit content on your website, and you can't create time. So we're just going to free some time up from some other business practices that are not in place. So that's the first session. It's all about smart tools for your business. And some people say, oh my God, that was just my favorite one. I didn't realize I can use my bookmarks and be so efficient. And because people use, you use your bookmarks, you use your password 10, 20, 30 times a day, it really sinks in that it's working for them. It's making a difference from the very, very beginning. So that's the smart tools. Then we're going to move on to online reputation, because if you have less than 4 stars on Google, no one's really going to come and click on your business, So you can do the best thing, but if your reputation is not there, can't go any further. We're going to then look at the basics of websites. There's no accreditation for web developers in Australia. It's not like you go to your accountant and they have the basic level of understanding. So it's really up to the business to understand whether or not they're being, told fibs, or whether they're actually about to select the right business, a right web partner. So it's about providing that education of what you should have in your website and what tools should be used in 2020. And then we go across to social media as well and really cover the basics of Instagram and Facebook for business in 2020, because we realize that a lot of businesses have never had the foundations in place for social media. So that course is really there to get the foundations right in order to move on. But without that, anything that you build on top will just crumble.
And that's what's important. Like, we're seeing a lot of businesses, we spoke earlier about, they're at that level now that they've set up these systems, they've set up the pipelines, they've set up the funnels and automation. But what's important to note is that there's a journey and a discovery to that too. So there's a Digital BizKeeper 101, and then there's an opportunity to move through and then go on to the more advanced, because sometimes you can find you can go in at the top level and no one likes a feeling of being overwhelmed. So when you say the hand holding and being led through that journey, there's an opportunity there. So I'd encourage anyone to sign up to get more details of when the program's launched. And thank you here. We've got thank you to congratulations, says Julie. Wonderful first show. Thank you, Julie. I think that's our Julie. Good on you, Jules. Thank you. It's good to know that everything's working, that's for sure. So when, encouraging, I guess, with your experience and overarching of like a lot of what you see, I mean, that you've just nailed one of passwords and cybersecurity and protecting your business. What would be some key learnings that you've had in your own business in growing a business? You go back to day one. What are some things that you've learned along the way that Navii will fly higher because the other jet is already in the air, that you can share with our listeners and viewers?
Look, I know we've heard it before, but there is nothing truer than fail fast, and don't be afraid to do it. Like, I think what we realized is what we thought was good for people maybe that's just not quite right. And you've got to listen to that customer and come back and go, no, let's reconfigure this. So going to the market early with the idea, being ready to deliver really quickly if it resonates, almost like market it first, see if they want it, then create it. So a bit like Steve Jobs walking around with his notebook with the drawing of the iPhone on it, know what the product is, start selling it so that we can see if people want it. So having a team, having a culture, that means we can develop things really quickly, but pull them or adapt them really quickly as well. And I think having that gives you confidence as somebody in business as well, because you just go, this is always going to work because we'll just keep adapting to what people want.
Yes.
So always listening to our customer and taking their feedback on board. Being very transparent and open to feedback, never being defensive to reviews or feedback, just loving every bit of it because it will help us improve what we're doing.
Fluid, flexible, and open to change. If there's anything that 2020 has taught us as well, is that, isn't it?
Oh,
how about you, Fab? Is there anything that I love this? I just have to share this comment. Suzanne Holden, sign me up. Love your work. We love you too, Suzanne. Thank you for your comment. And we've got that's awesome. How about you, Fabi? Is there anything that you'd like to share? If you could, like, what have there been some of your key learnings that you'd like to share with everyone?
For me, I mean, I love building things. I love building businesses. But I'll be the one who just works all day, all night because I love it. And then I forget to go and, get my other brain going when I go and walk on the beach. So it's all about finding that balance. And I know why you're laughing, because you're probably going to tell everyone about my bike. But Liz is really organised to have that work time and then that walking time where her ideas come. But because I'm this person who works all the time, I need to find ways to get my ideas flowing and exercise. So my tip would be to don't forget that when you're building a business and you're trying to be really flexible, look after yourself and give yourself some free time to go and not engage your working brain, but let your creative brain go as well, because that is what's going to come up with the next idea. And yes, I have built a little desk. I got my friend to build me a little desk on my exercise bike, because it's been sitting there for a year thinking I'll do some exercise. But now I actually have a desk on it so I can exercise and work at the moment. So I'm getting better, feeling a bit more empowered to have more Fabi time for creative thinking. But I just love building things too much and connecting systems that are still work.
And you're so good at it. And that's an important thing. It's important we're hearing, be flexible, just go out and do it. If you're feeling it, you're listening, you're looking, you're observing, create the product and don't be scared to take it to market. And also it's okay to do it all at once, to do it all at the same time. You should see, I mean, we meet in the morning and there's just this, she's on her bike and she's on her laptop and you just feel like you're lazy because you're sitting down or even standing because you're not doing anything. It's the best, but that's also working with the resources you have, right?
Well, last night I live in Agnes Water, which is 6 hours north of Brisbane, but I'm actually in Brisbane at the moment. And last night we drove, so I did not drive, my husband drove, and so I've got this. I need to work in the car, but in regional Queensland and internet's not always that great. So I bought this awesome aerial, and now I can work in the car. So 6 extra hours of work. And that's how I do things. We're really flexible. I've got young kids. I've got a family. We love traveling, but I love working as well. So you make things work for you, and don't be scared to ask people how they do it, if they've got options, don't be scared to join some great Facebook groups online and ask how to better do digital or your lifestyle or Facebook ads, whatever it is. There's resources now.
And welcome to our Facebook group. We're also streaming live into our Facebook community. So if anybody wants to join that too, you're welcome to, and we'll put all of the we'll put the group links inside. We've got someone here, a Facebook user, saying this is such an exciting new adventure for you all. Looking forward to seeing it in all its glory. Thank you so much. And Suzanne's come back, says, I so need you guys in my life and business right now. And I think that's really important. And I love that. I love that we have become an extension to businesses for that level of support. So there's a lot of organizations that can give you HR assistance. You've got your accountants and your financial planners. I love that we are beyond just a training organization, that we can really be that extended trusted advisor and support on your team to champion and cheer and celebrate your successes and unravel the challenges, untangle your web.
That's digital at your fingertips. Hey, Liz, that's what we talked about when we first
it was one of our Tourism Tribe lines, actually. It was one of our, and regardless of where you're located, and that's why we started Tourism Tribe. We were sitting in a cafe in Wollongong. We were both presenting at a conference again, and we were going,
we had our clothes this time.
Yeah, we had our clothes this time. What could we do that would, break the back of the challenges? This was thinking specifically about tourism and travel sector, where there are many regional businesses. It's the same with small business everywhere, though. A lot of them are regional. To be able to help with the upskilling and digital adoption. And so that's how Tourism Tribe was born, in terms of that, remote learning platform, lots of access, lots of support wherever you're located. And it was digital at your fingertips. And I couldn't tell you the number of times where Fabi's done coaching sessions and people have said, can I just have you on my shoulder, or that'd be really good. So that's what we've tried to create, is that access into the experts. And they can tap into it. They can just make a phone call and say, how do I do this? Yeah.
Call, ask us if we're not the best person. We've got so many connections of experts. It's not just us. This is how the world is today, is connected, and putting you in contact. We love it just as much if you get help from someone else that we know is going to do the right thing.
It's such a collaborative approach, isn't it? So we never hesitate to say we don't know, we'll find out, and we'll lead you to that correct pathway. And even amongst ourselves, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you. So in the last 3 weeks, I've joined the team, and we've got Jules that joined the team, experiencing growth. How that has been for you, your little baby that has been just the two of you, just the two of us, and now there's 7 of us. How has that transition been? And have you stopped to just exhale and go, wow, to really take that in? Have you taken that moment to see, because it's all happening really fast?
No. It's
I'm going to take a holiday next week.
And we're still in, because we've got this massive new baby, Navii. It's like we just have to keep moving, and that's motivational in itself.
Yeah.
So that's been great. Look, Fab's done a fantastic job in creating processes that allow her and me to sleep at night, because we know that all the other projects that we're running, all of our client-facing projects, are going through a good quality process in terms of them being managed, and the team knows what's required of them. So that's been fantastic, and they're the kind of, and that's using smart digital tools as the means to do that. So that's been fantastic. It's allowed us to make that transition, I think, quite quickly over the last 3 weeks, so that you can take the reins, Despi, and we can pull back and work on more strategic projects like Navii. So giving us that, the building of Navii and all of the working parts of that need to happen. So I think the transition's been quite smooth. But no, to answer your question, who has got time to sit back and go, oh, look at that, we've achieved this. I hope that we congratulate the team on a daily basis for what they're achieving. And I think that's what it's about. It's little increments all the time of moving forward. I don't know, in the digital age and in the type of work we do, I don't know if we'll ever get to a point where you sit back and go, it's done now. I don't think
that is so true.
That would
it's
be
never
great.
to a completed
my
state.
brain's ever going to stop. Yours
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
to run because I'm actually in Brisbane and I've got to go get my eyes checked because we can't check eyes in Agnes Water. Because
Okay.
I'm in coaching sessions like this, it's not looking good. So,
well, look,
gotta
this
have-
is the first Fridays at 10 o'clock. I think that's a good opportunity. If there's any other questions, yeah, is that? But what was that, Liz?
I'm just going to remind people about tonight.
And
Trivia
tonight
night.
we've got a trivia
Oh,
night.
nice.
So we'll put the details. Everybody's welcome. You have to register though to be involved. So come and start the day with us, finish the day with us. And thank you so much. We've got Cherie Evans. All the best with Navii. Thank you, Cherie.
Thanks,
Go check out tourismtribe.com, Navii with the i.com.au to sign up for updates. But you'll tune in 10 o'clock on Fridays and we'll have something new to share, someone new to bring to you to share. This is a discovery of our own. So thank you for joining us on our first episode of the Digital Discovery Show. Thank you, Liz and Fabi, for your time. All the best with your eyes, with your eye checking. And we'll see you next week, if not this afternoon, for a bit of trivia fun at 4:30. And we'll pop the links in all of the comments for you to join us. All right. Thanks, everyone. And see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Have a great weekend.